Ladies and gentlemen, my story starts on a sunny day in 1980. I'm in the outpatients department of the Mater Hospital on Dublin's North Circular Road, and I have an appointment to see Dr. O'Donoghue, the eye specialist. He has been looking after my eye condition for years, and while my sight is deteriorating, I still have quite a sufficient amount of vision, although it is challenging at times. Now, I have lucky enough to have quite a good bit of independence. To give you an idea as to what I can see at that time, I could read a newspaper, although I had to hold it quite close to my face. And the problem with that was I ended up invariably with ink on the tip of my nose. My nephews, who were young kids at the time, used to say, "Uncle Michael knows the news." So, as to what I couldn't see steps, either going up or down, so I had no perception of the depth of a step, the height. I also found people's faces blurred. There were no great definition there. Anyway, I'm in with Dr. O'Donoghue, and unsurprisingly, he tells me that my sight is deteriorating and that I am liable to have ongoing eye infections. He says the only real solution for me is a cornea graft or corneal transplant. Now, I know somebody who had already got that, and they had some sight restored. So I asked him what were the odds of it being successful. And he said probably around 50%. So I said, would you recommend it? He said, no, that's going to be your decision. I can't make that decision for you. So I said, fair enough. He says, I would advise you to talk it with your family and come back to me, and if you wish to proceed, I know a very good specialist in Waterford who will look after you. So I agonised on it for a number of days, thinking the pros and cons. If I stay the way I am, I have enough sight for a while. I have quite enough independence. If I go for the cornea graft, the chances are I could get a good bit of sight back, but the other side of it is I could be completely blind. So I wasn't afraid. I was afraid to take the risk, and the old proverb goes, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So I contacted and told the doctor no, I wouldn't proceed, and time went by. And at that time, I was very fortunate to meet a very nice girl who in time became very much in love with. And unfortunately, we were very good friends. We got on very well together. And she happened to be blind herself. And we began to realize, if I had gone for that corneal transplant, life might be that little bit easier. So I had the regrets, and when the appointment card for the next time came through my letterbox, we were all ready to go and up for the transplant. So I go in to see him, Dr. O'Donoghue again, and he says, well, what's the situation? I say, I want to go ahead with this. No problem. He was delighted. He thinks it's the right decision. And he says, it makes the arrangement for me to go to Waterford. Time passes by, and I'm down with Mr. Condon in Arkeen Hospital, and he goes through the pros and cons of the operation, what I can expect, how long I'll be in hospital, etc., etc. And he told me one thing, that once a cornea is found for me, he has 7 hours in which to carry out the transplant. And he told me that I would, being in Dublin, to be ready at a moment's notice to come down to Waterford to have the actual transplant done. So I went off home, and a few months later got a call at 8 o'clock in the morning to be in Waterford that day. There was a train at 11:05, and I was on that train. And I remember passing through I still had quite a bit of vision, and I can still remember passing by trees and fields on the way down to Waterford and thinking, I wonder will I see these on the way back. So I went into Waterford, into Arkeen, had the prep for the operation. The operation took place in the evening, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and there was a night nurse there, and I asked her how had the operation gone, and she says, very successful. So I was quite happy. She said, I just need to take a little quick peep at the eye. So she takes off the bandage, and ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, I had never seen human features before. Imagine my surprise when in front of me I could see a girl with brown hair, blue eyes, a little button nose, two lovely red lips, two rows of white teeth, and I could even see her eyebrows. So the next morning, Mr. Conley came in to have a look at his handiwork, and he was very happy with how it had gone. And from then on, for the next few days, I was in the new world of sighted experience. I remember looking out the window at the trees. I could see the blue of the sky. I could see the clouds. I could see the buildings near the hospital. There were doors, windows, chimneys. There was even steps, which I could see. But all that went into insignificance when that evening, who comes in to see me? But my wife-to-be. So I was very excited at that because I had been secretly wondering what it would be like. and I wasn't disappointed. So I was there for a week, and I had this fear at night of closing my eyes for fear when I wake up in the morning, everything would be gone. And, believe it or not, after about a week, I began to have slight problems, a mistiness in front of my eyes. The doctor says it might be due to the stitches that were tightening on the cornea, and when I got the stitches out, I'd be fine. I was discharged, and about a fortnight later, I came down to have the stitches taken out. But instead of getting better, things were getting worse. And I was in a room, it was like a room full of smoke. So anyhow, 3 or 4 weeks later, I'm back with Dr. Dunham on the matter, and he cannot believe that I'm carrying a white cane. So because he had got pictures, he had got x-rays from Waterford at the time, and he was expecting very good results. So anyhow, he came along, and he says, unfortunately, he did an examination of my eye, and he says, sadly to say, he says, your optic nerve has failed. So I was devastated. But at the same time, I was a few weeks short of getting married to Teresa, and I says, I'll be determined, we won't let this beat us, and we'll carry on. So that's almost 35 years ago since I made that fateful decision. And I often ask myself, was it the right decision? And of course it was, because it gave me the gift of sight, even for a short period. The gift to be able to see the world, and to be able to see my wife-to-be, and to be able to see my family and those close to me. The memories of that sustain me ever since. But the one thing I will say about your sight, it's a great gift. And the one great gift about your eyesight is that you can still continue giving it after you leave this world in the form of a transplant or for somebody else. Like the person that gave me the cornea, and I never forget, I was always grateful to that person. So that's my story for you. Thank you.